API system there in place that changes this value, which the SL server sends out. It will pretty much be unchangeable, but if the SL server sends a command through the API that changes it from the server, the actual server itself, the server will send a ping back to the API and then carry the information across to the SL server. So an API is pretty much the middleman for customizations, which is why with as per se, Exiled API itself has shortcuts of size. They have shortcuts of literally every interaction player interacted with. There's a database of things that that can be done, and it sends out a certain line of code. What these line of codes do is they alter, through the API, it becomes altered. It becomes, pretty much customized. Pretty much there is a command that is sent that is just baseline, you know, everything sends a command. Whenever you open a door, whenever you open a locker chamber, whenever you open up just a gate, there's
That's my
different
favorite.
there's different things that do different other things. And so here, let me just okay, so these things are obviously going to be called events. These are event systems that are just that are logged. So
Yes, of course, easy to understand.
I'll break it down to something a bit easier for you to understand.
Yeah, I have monkey brain.
Here, we'll make it way easier. Alright, you know what? We're gonna redo this. There you go. There you go. Turn these all to the smallest amount. Alright. Actually, expand upon this.
But why is Anomaly using Paint 3D?
He's talking about APIs.
So, pretty much, fuck, I keep pressing escape because I'm so used to using escape button. Okay, so, as per se, the server sends out the actual, here, look, let's just move this up here. So, what happens here is that the server has a database, which would be, let's get a little, it's not, okay, there you go. A server which would be the player old owner and then the player new owner. That is a database directly in the server. Now, see, alterations to this would be logged and exploited for using, like the actual how I had the custom keycards working, the old version of the custom keycards. It would detect the old owner, which it would, receive information from the server. It's sent through the API, and it would get information back, send custom info. It's literally a command called send custom info. Well, not a command, but it's a line of code that I have, obviously for the custom key cards. Um, it would send, the player owed info. It would send it back over, and so it would be a request and then a send. Um, and it would pretty much just be, it detects old owner. And how I had it working was that it would, obviously it would detect the owner, and then old owner, which would, it would, that name wouldn't be used, and then the name for the new owner would be used and displayed on the bottom left corner. So this is a pretty simplistic, kind of dumbed down way of telling you pretty much what an API is.
Anomaly, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you made these or not. In Site 12, you remember when hosters would take people's key cards to change their names and stuff? How did that work?
Take key cards to change names.
Yeah, I remember Site 12 hosters taking key cards from players to change the key card, like the custom info on the key card, and also
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so with the GID command, I did not create the GID command. Let's get that out of the way here. This was all of the stuff. I don't really remember too much about the GID, but most of the baseline of things were actually created by Doctor Idiot instead of Dot. A lot of like low underlying things I remember. Um, so Doctor Idiot was obviously way too young to own Site 12, but he was a genius. Um, a genius of coding in C sharp. I mean, he was great. But what they would do, what would be done is that people would spawn in with a card with a set, you know, a set, set name, a set name, position, and permissions. Obviously the it'll be something randomized. Position will be like, everybody who normally spawned in was just a normal agent, who was, a part of the security department, and then the perms would be, if I'm not mistaken, security
Charity
clearance
1,
1 and checkpoint.
Checkpoint. I think they had
And that
Containment 1.
nope, they never had containment 1 because it just didn't make sense for them to have containment 1. So upon this, the hosters would use the GID command because this is old info and they don't want it. They would just remove the card. I remember the GID was it would be command GID. I think it was ID. Um, ID position and permission, which is from a 1 value to
2048.
2042, 2048
2048.
value. Um, so what would this do would be values that up. And so they would just give, put the ID. So like, they'd put the ID of, two, with the position and permission, filled out, and they would just give the new card. It wasn't really nothing crazy.